Hello, Lisa.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
3 more seasons of
Yeah.
Stranger Guides. So what made you say, yes, I want to play in a scripted show on Bravo?
It was more the scripted show than the Bravo part. I mean, it was a wonderful script, and I love Marty Noxon. It was a meeting of the minds. It was perfect. And working on Bravo was very exciting because they've never done it before.
Exactly.
So they really put their all into making this show work, and that was really fantastic.
I am still, and I probably always will be, in love with you.
What? Divorce can be fun.
Fun? It's divorce.
We're exploring being together again, but I need this job.
1,000 words twice a week of Abby's adventures. Let's sell some divorce.
I want to talk about our relationship, and you don't. We're truly Jake and Abby 2.0. Abby and I are giving it another shot.
Okay, I'm having a baby.
I haven't found the right time to tell her yet.
She's going to be thrilled when she finds out you're sitting on this little time bomb.
I like the solidarity between the girlfriends,
Yeah.
obviously.
I think the shared experience of being a grown-up out in the world as a single woman, midlife, is something that bonds people together. Because it's a complicated experience.
Talking about grown-up, where are the children? I mean, sometimes we just don't see them. Where are they?
Well, sometimes they're at their grandmother's house. Sometimes they're just in school. Yeah, I know. It's not really a story about the kids, but it's a story about what they're doing when they're not with the kids.
Yeah. Do you think Abby has a privileged relationship?
Joe and Abby certainly have a lot of history together, so it's a complicated relationship. You know, those long friendships where you meet somebody at a certain point in your life and you're very different people later on in your life, but you have so much history that you can't really walk away. So I think that's what her relationship is with Joe. With Phoebe, it's much more, I think she's inspired by Phoebe's youth and inquisitive nature, and it's something that Abby never really experienced, having gotten married early and been in this relationship for a long time. So I think Phoebe is an inspiration to her.
Sometimes I feel like Girlfriend's Guide is sort of Sex and the City, but on the West Coast.
Uh-huh.
Would you agree on that?
I mean, I don't mind the comparison because Sex and the City is such a huge hit. I think it really stops at there's 4 women and they wear beautiful dresses. Sex and the City was sort of a light romp, whereas Girlfriend's Guide can really cut to the core at times in a way that I think is very different from Sex and the City. It's less about what did you do in bed with that person and more about, you know, high stakes and deep feelings.
How do you contribute to your character? Do you talk with the writers, you know?
Definitely. Especially last year I got to co-write an episode with my boss, and this year I'm going to do it again. So I've actually had more input on this job than I've ever had before. And it's not so much that I'm creating the character, because that's really Marty's job, but I definitely have input, and my ideas are welcomed when it comes to what happens to her.
Do you know if all the rules have been written or they just come as they go?
What do you mean?
You know, each episode has a rule title.
The rule sort of comes after it's written.
Okay.
They write it and then you think, how do I narrow this down into one rule? When we were doing the episode that I wrote with Marty, I could not write the rule. I just left that to her. I didn't feel like I had the right to write the rule.
So can we talk about the relationship between Abby and her husband? Mm-hmm. Because the development between season 1 and season 2 is really different. So how do you feel about that? I
love that story. I love that from the very beginning, that character is not the bad guy. That it's complicated, that it's a screwed up relationship, it's a failed marriage, but it's not an evil man or an evil woman. It's 2 people who couldn't work it out. By getting them back together again, that brief period during season 2, you really got to see why they loved each other, and you also got to see why it was never going to work. I think it's great storytelling for the audience to understand that sometimes moving on is right. And that's what this story is about. The story is not about a scorned woman. It's not about an evil woman. It's not about men are bad. It's about the failure of a relationship, and then how do you pick up the pieces and how you find yourself from there.
For my last question, I cannot not mention House, obviously.
Yes.
So Jesse Spencer is here. How is it to, see again your former co-stars?
I love seeing Jesse. He's my favorite actor from my experience on House. He makes me laugh so hard. I saw him last night and I didn't recognize him because he has a big beard and he was waving and I just thought he was a fan. It was so embarrassing because there were so many people standing outside waving. So I was like, hi. But anyway, we caught up. We had a good time. He's such a sweetheart.
Thank you very much.